All right, folks, listen, today, after reading the thumbnail, listen, I always say I know why you're here. I really know why you're here. Now, listen, we're doing smothered turkey, right? Ain't no fancy name you can do it, but I guess you can call it Southern style, smothered turkey, but whatever it is, we about to get it, folks. All right, so look, I want to show you guys, some of these ingredients, right? So you guys can see right here, these are all my dry ingredients. I pre-measure everything and I put them, right here. And then I always like to keep my, my garlic, somewhere where they're accessible, right? And then obviously, I got bell peppers, onion. Then we're going to use fresh herbs, right? So this right here is just fresh sage. We got a few other things that are fresh. But basically what you see right here is how you're going to come up with like some great tasting, Southern style food. I got to go ahead and pay homage to this right here because if you guys can see that right there, these are going to be the wings. Other than that, don't forget, the full ingredient list is on my website. That's Smokin and Grillin with AB.com, and that's WITAB.com. Now, listen, this is what we're finna do. All of my dry ingredients, I'm gonna bring them right here. And the way I'm doing it like this, I'm sorry for those of you guys who have been cooking for a minute. I'm really trying to keep it so that, we got a lot of new people that's breaking out and doing their own thing. This might be their first, holiday, or really their first real meal. So I try to make it and explain it as, easy as possible, right? And again, I'll bring this over here, but this is gonna be my garlic, right? So look, we're just gonna add all of this in here like that, right? Once we get all of this in here, you guys are gonna like this part. If you don't, I do. I'm gonna take my garlic right here and I'm gonna mince it. Now I'm using my press. I hope you guys see. If you haven't gotten yourself one of these, get one. You know what I mean? They moving like hotcakes. I'm actually truly getting low on these too, right? So now I'm just gonna go ahead and just, put these in the inside. You want to get yourself something that's, hard, so you can just scrape this down. And then, anything that didn't get, minced, I put that down because that's still all garlic, right? So we just reload it. You guys got to like the smell of garlic. Garlic just enhances everything. Now, you want to get yourself some extra virgin olive oil, right? Now listen, I use Branch and Vine from Branch and Vine Uplands, right? This is garlic infused. We already add garlic here, but you want to have the best ingredients. You know what I mean? And I found this brand right here to be good. I just want to put myself about a couple tablespoons inside. Now we just mix this together. It's going to make a little paste. I'm going to add a little bit more because we're going to use this. This is what we're going to use to season, right? We got to season and we're going to do a little marinating of our turkey wings. You want it to be a little bit past the paste. You guys see that right there? Look. Actually, I can go just a little bit more. Now what we're going to do is, these are our wings. They ready to go. What I like to do is, I like to always make sure that these are dry. Even though we're getting ready to put some wet on here, but this is going to be all the flavor. And this is just from it sitting up. They were dry already. But when you leave them sitting up, it always releases a little bit of moisture. So now I'm gonna take this one here and we're gonna go in here and we're just gonna put this all over the top. This is where we're gonna get that flavor from. I don't know about you guys, you hear all the stuff about chicken wings and all of that. You guys let me know, you eat your skin on the turkey? Does it have to be crispy for you? Do you like it? But this is gonna be smothered, folks, you know what I mean? So I get it like this and then I take my hand and I kind of like just work it in. This has it has pores in it. You know what I mean? It's not like rock solid. I get it everywhere. Look how I'm getting it all up in here. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this marinate, right? So once I get it coated like that, man, this is nice. You might want to take a picture of that. So then we just go ahead and repeat the step. What I'm gonna do is I'll stick it into the refrigerator. I'm gonna let it marinate for about 4 hours, right? You can do a minimum of 1 hour. You want that flavor to be in there. Look at what I'm doing, folks. I take my thumb, I get right in here underneath that skin a little bit, let's just get it going. Ultimately, when you got it seasoned well, when you get to your end product, which will be when it's smothered and all of that, everybody at the table gonna be like, oh yeah, bro. You probably should have made 12 of them. All right, so once you get everything, coated, right? Put it in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna go for 1 hour. Listen, 1 to 4 hours, 4 being obviously better than 1, for you get a little marinating process, because we want everything to adhere and to be deep in there so we can taste it in every bite, right? And I'm gonna say for best results, I'm gonna say overnight. So let me get this foil covered, and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. All right, so listen, it's getting close to 2 hours. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my oven up to temp, right? So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna preheat my oven, right? So I hit bake and we're gonna use 350 and I hit start. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down. Let's go ahead and get these 2 bottom pieces cut off. I'll set these off to the side. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this down, open this up, and you can see this right here, look. We'll get rid of this little seed bank. Now here's where I like to trim these little ribs up just to get rid of some of that white. All I do is I take these and I cut these down like this into like almost like little small slivers. You want them to be a little bit on the thin side. It's okay if a couple of them become a little thick, but that's okay. But so I want you to know, I don't know if this is capturing it. If you guys can look at that, you can see it's, nice. This one's happened to be a little bit thicker, but for the majority of these, look, nice and thin. All right, let me go ahead and finish the rest of these, and we're gonna do the exact same thing for the green onion. Now, this is what we're gonna do. So after, chopping these down, cutting them and trying to do my best at, doing julienne, right? So listen, we're gonna be making our smothered turkey wings, and we're gonna put these in the oven, but we're gonna be using this cast iron, right? So this is real familiar to everybody, you know what I mean? Sometimes we use casserole dishes and we put the veggies down on the bottom, you know what I mean? But we're gonna do it just like this, and let's just get us a little bed. Now I kind of like just mix them all together, It might look like it's a lot, but I love to have the veggies. Just think about what it brings to the gravy, right? Did I say gravy, folks? Come on, it's smothered. We gotta have that. All right, so you see this right here. I love this little medley of vegetables that we got down there, right? So now, earlier I had mentioned to everybody about having fresh herbs, right? So we started out with some herbs. That's what we did our seasoning with. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this right here. Just get yourself some. There's no real, like you overdid it or nothing like that. I wouldn't suggest you put the whole thing in there. But if I'm gonna put thyme in here, I just put it in here like this. There's no right way, no wrong way. You can put some over the top, and then we're gonna come with the oregano. This all gonna make sense to you, because once I put these wings in here, watch what happens when I cook them and they start releasing their juices to this. And don't forget, we're gonna get our gravy from it also, right? So you wanna have like a lot of different, seasonings, in here. And these are the three that I tell you work very, very well in making this gravy. And then last but not least, we're gonna talk about this sage. Now, everybody knows sage can be a little bit on the strong side, right? So I'm not gonna put as much, but this right here, holiday, right? Even though we having smothered, meals like this throughout the year. But right now we kicking it off by, showing out a little bit. Look at that. Now, let me set this off to the side. Let's go ahead and start to add, our wings to it. You see what I'm doing? I'm just putting it on here. Some of you guys, it might look a little different to you because you're thinking, usually when I do something like this, I always put it in like in a casserole dish, but not this time, right? And I got it, because I preach that when we cooking, we always want to have our food at room temperature. I'm coming right out of the refrigerator, however long it took me to get this together, then we put it right on top. But don't trip. That 350 gonna take care of all of that. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do is just to, get this going, is I'm going to do this part right here. I'm going to cut my butter. It's been sitting out forever. It's like super soft. You know what, let me get me some different butter. But I'm gonna give you guys the gist of it. We just take the butter and I just add this right here on top, right? Now, of course, it's gonna melt. When it melts, it drops down. And I gotta keep saying this, don't forget, we finna get some of that gravy out of this. So let me go ahead and get myself another crisper stick of butter and finish that up. And then we're gonna go ahead and finish this whole thing and put it in the oven. Now, after you got your butter on top of there, look, this is what you wanna do. You wanna take your flour. Normally we use that with any type of liquid. Sometimes I use cornstarch because we're making like a little bit of a slurry for thickening up, right? But now I'm gonna go ahead and use you guys see where I'm going. This is just my chicken stock, right? And we'll just work this in here. Best practice would be to pour it first and then the whisk, the flour in, in increments so you don't have any, lumps. But for me, I'm gonna be real thorough just to make sure. Now, after having my chicken stock in here, I just want to show you guys do have some options, right? For those of us that's watching our sodium intake, look, they have another version. This one right here, this is unsalted. So if you want to use unsalted, you can do that, you know what I mean? Or you can use regular. This is how it is. And don't forget, they always have a 33% less sodium. So listen, there's ways that we can control what we do. And then notice I haven't been putting any type of salt on here at all. And I'm finna put a little bit of this Creole kick right here on top. I'm gonna hold this up and just dust it just a little bit. We're gonna let that work in there too. I like to have like just a little bit of a bite. All right, so look, the last step of it that we do before we put this in there, right? Now this part right here is gonna be crucial. We took the time to go ahead and marinate it, right? We put some butter on there and then we dusted it with the Creole kick, right? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this and we're gonna pour that over here in the corner because we don't wanna wash off none of our seasoning. Oh, I'm gonna need my whisk. Now the reason I got my whisk, because it might settle. It depends on how long you have done this. If you let it settle, the flour goes down on the bottom. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in here now, like this, right? And this is what's gonna thicken up and become our gravy. Now we go ahead and put our lid on. If you guys don't have an oven safe lid like I do here, all you can do is, what you can do is just take some foil, put it over the top, right? We already at 350 degrees. We put this in and we gonna go for 1 hour. So as soon as I get through, matter of fact, I'm finna go ahead and mess with everybody who got one of them Amazon Echoes in their house. Alexa, set a timer for 1 hour. Okay, folks, look, I already got the napkin in my hand. You know, usually when I wrap up these videos, you know, I like to taste it, then I go for the napkin, you know, wipe my mouth. But listen, I've been eating this, and the cool part about it is, look, you see this right here? Look at that. You see that? All of this, somebody had to stop me. And then don't forget, we had 4. Now we down to just these 2. I feel like I'm over talking and I'm rambling. I gotta just tell you, hey, just try it this way. It's a little bit more of a healthier type of recipe. It might not look that way, but we didn't do the normal things we do when we smother. I want you guys to try it. Please do, and come back and talk to me and let me know what else would you have done. And don't forget the full ingredient list is on my website. That's smokingandgrillin.ab.com, and that's WITAB.com. Now, with that being said, ain't no white or nothing. You know what to do. And for those of you guys that don't, I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and tell everybody out there, there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. You don't see no fork here because I had to clean my hands. I'm finna eat now. I'm out. Peace.